Hello everybody, I'm Spencer Hopwood and welcome to the first ever video on my brand new Total Extreme Wrestling channel, Universe Rewritten. This is where I take moments from wrestling history, give them a little bit of a twist and then play through that new world in Total Extreme Wrestling 9. It's part fantasy booking, part what if, and all about having fun within the crazy world of professional wrestling. In today's episode, we've gone back to 2001 when both ECW and WCW have gone out of business, but the land of extreme has been re-risen and been saved. But who has done that saving? We will find out today as we kick off with ECW ReBorn. So let's dive in and see how things play out when the universe gets rewritten. Here we are in game, and I just want to let you guys know how today's episode is going to work. We're going to dive straight into ECW ReBorn. The show is already booked, it's all ready to go, so we're going to jump straight into that. If you want more of the backstage kind of stuff, that's going to be in episode 2. There's going to be a lot of surprises, a lot of people you might not be expecting to show up in today's show, so I thought I would do it like that, and then you can see who we've signed, who obviously you don't see on today's show. You'll see all of that on episode 2. You'll see who we've got on our booking team, who we've got in our inner circle, all that good backstagey stuff you will see on episode 2. But as for today, you will see ECW ReBorn starting right now. We are, of course, in the ECW arena. It is completely sold out with a rabid crowd of 1,500 people all over the moon and delighted to see ECW alive and well once again. And the show opens up with Joey Styles, of course, in the ring. He gives a very heartfelt speech about how ECW is the company that refuses to die. Ever since day one, there have been people from outside and even inside the company that have tried to kill ECW, but this is the revolution that refuses to go away. But boy, oh boy, did we come close this time. But we are alive, we are resurrected, and there are only 2 things Joey Styles knows about the show tonight. One is that there is a lot of new people backstage, and 2 is that the new owner is in their office backstage, but the Extreme Savior has not revealed themselves yet to anybody and has not ventured outside of their office. They was the first ones in the building before anybody else arrived, and they have not left as of yet. But as you can see, that is not where the segment ends, because following this, Tommy Dreamer then comes out to the ring and says that he's still here, he's still part of ECW, despite getting offers from elsewhere in the wrestling world, and that loyalty should be rewarded by the new owner coming out to introduce themselves. Unfortunately, that doesn't happen. So Tommy Dreamer then says, screw this, I'm going to go and find them backstage myself. I'm going to go and knock on their door and find out who it is. So he leaves the ring and he goes to try and find the new owner. But then even after that, Joey Styles cannot leave the ring before RVD comes out to the ring. And he says that he was the longest running TV champion in ECW history, and he should be in the ECW title match tonight. Styles says that according to his run sheet, RVD is in the world title match tonight, but as for opponent, it just says question mark, question mark, question mark. So who knows who RVD's opponent is going to be. RVD, in his cool, laid-back manner, just says, Okay, whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm the best in the world. I will beat whoever is put in front of me. And so RVD goes to leave the ring and he goes to head backstage. But then, even then, Joey Styles cannot get out of the ring before Ian and Axel Rotten, the Rotten brothers, come out to the ring and they say that they too are still here, but they want to do what they do best, and that is fight. And so they are challenging anybody from backstage to come and fight them right here, right now. And that is exactly what they get, because in a surprise moment, Ron and Don Harris make their ECW debuts. They make their way to the ring and they immediately start brawling with the Rotten brothers. And this begins our first match of the night. And so, as you can see, that starts us off with a 59 segment rating, a four-part part of the show to kick off the program. We are on pay-per-view, by the way, no TV deals as of yet. That's a little bit of backstage news I will give you. And so part one got a 57. Part one was Joey Styles and Tommy Dreamer opening the show, and Dreamer wanting to know who the new owner is. So that got us a 57. RVD's part got us a 65. The Rottens, supposedly, I guess you can expect that, only got a 40. The Rottens and the Harris brothers fight got a 42. And really, Joey Styles only getting an adequate for his gimmick. Dreamer only getting a rating of poor for his innovator of violence gimmick. That's worrying, because you'll see as the show goes on, I've got a storyline all about him being an innovator of violence. So that's a little bit of a worry, but okay. RVD's only got an adequate for his whole effing show gimmick. And rather surprisingly, Axel Rotten, Ian Rotten, Don and Ron have all got really good ratings for their gimmicks. So that's a little bit of a surprise. But 59 to start the show. Crowd is hot and rising. And we are going straight into our first show of the night, which of course is Ron and Don against the Rotten brothers, sorry. And that gets us a 48. In a poor match, the Bruise brothers, Ron and Don, defeated Bad Breed, the Rotten brothers, when Ron Harris pinned Axel Rotten with a H-bomb. The match was designed to be chaotic and full of action in order to get the crowd going. And, well, Ian and Axel. Ian got a 36, Axel got a 53, Don and Ron only in the mid-40s. And, well, that's a little bit worrying. That's a little bit disappointing. I wanted a bit of a surprise. I wasn't sure who to go with for this first match, but I thought maybe hardcore match, wild mayhem, bit of a brawl. I thought give Ron and Don Harris a load of weapons and give them the win for a little bit of a surprise. Maybe that's brought the crowd down a little bit, because they are now only on hot. And on commentary, we've got, of course, Joey Styles, but he is joined by Cyrus on commentary. And Cyrus's Weasley gimmick has only got a poor rating, even. And, well, Weasley gimmick, I didn't realise that was his gimmick. I didn't check, to be honest. Maybe I should get him to dye his hair ginger. Maybe that is what we should do for him to maybe improve that Weasley gimmick. And John Finnegan, the referee, nobody really cares about that. But yeah, 48 for the first match. Hopefully we can get a few better than that as the show goes on. And then after that, a knockoff version of Ric Flair's theme plays over the PA in the arena. But it is his son, David Flair, who comes out to the ring. And as you can probably expect in an ECW arena, the crowd is booing him mercilessly. But David Flair tries to act as though he's not bothered by that reaction until that music hits. Enter Sandman hits. And the Sandman makes his, of course, traditional entrance through the crowd. He's drinking beer. He's swinging his Singapore cane. He's working his way through the whole crowd in the ECW arena. And then he makes his way into the ring and he makes straight for David Flair. And that begins our next match. A 50 segment rating. Crowd is still hot. Sandman's entrance, of course, got the better rating of 65. David Flair's family legacy gimmick is poor. Sandman's icon gimmick, hardcore icon gimmick, has got an initial rating of great. And the Sandman came across well. Steve Corino probably could have done a better job at putting this angle together as the road agent. That's a little bit of something else I'm going to have to remember. But yet, David Flair is in ECW. I've actually got plans for him. I've actually got plans for him in ECW. I think you people might enjoy. But yep, Sandman comes down, gets right in his face. The next match begins, a 50 rating for that segment. And actually, that segment was better than the match. Is that to be expected? I don't know, but in just 4 minutes 33 seconds, the Sandman absolutely dominates David Flair, beats him all around the ring, all around ringside. The Sandman gets an in-ring performance of 65. David Flair, probably to be expected, only gets a 39. The commentary helped with this match, which probably needed all the help it could get. But the crowd is still hot. 52 rating for the actual wrestling, 42 for the crowd, 43 overall. And gimmick changes, what we got for that? Oh, just Charles Robinson. He is also someone who is now one of our referees in the company now. And so nobody really cares about his gimmick. And so let's move on. We then go backstage where Tommy Dreamer is outside the new owner's door. It says new owner of ECW with a little bit of a smiley face as well. But before he can open the door or knock on the door, he gets attacked from behind by one Chris Kanyon, making his surprise debut. And this is going to start off a storyline between the two, between Kanyon and Dreamer. Part one of the segment got a 41, and then Kanyon attacking Dreamer got a 53 to give us a 50 overall. Canyon's gimmick gets an initial rating of great, and this begins the who really is the innovator of violence storyline between the two. I did tell you earlier, I've got the storyline about Dreamer being an innovator of violence. We're going to need his gimmick to improve, maybe, for this storyline to get any kind of heat. But we shall see. 50 segment rating. I'm fairly happy with that. And then following that, we have got an absolute ECW legend in the next match. It is, of course, Terry Funk versus Kid Cass. And in a bout that had decent reaction from the crowd, but subpar wrestling, Terry Funk defeated Kid Cass in 8 minutes 50 by pinfall with a pile driver. And so the segment gets a 42, wrestling rating gets 49, and Terry Funk gets a 55 rating, Kid Cass a 43. But what I have noticed is having nobody able to do play-by-play made the match come off badly. I booked this show in 2 parts. I may have to come back in a minute and after I've sorted out the announcers for the rest of the show. So give me 1 second and I'll be back.
A few moments later.
Okay, all the commentary has now been sorted for the rest of the show. And so we are back with Tajiri versus Chavo Guerrero versus Super Crazy in one of those old school freeway light heavyweight / cruiserweight type matches that ECW used to do so well. And in this one, it is Yoshihiro Tajiri who gets the victory over Chavo and Super Crazy when Tajiri pinned Crazy with a roll-up. This match was designed to revolve around a lot of high spots, and so we get a 52 for the segment, only a 36 for the crowd. Are we starting to lose the crowd a little bit? I really, really hope not. 51 for the actual wrestling. And actually, if you look at this, I chose the wrong person to win this completely. Because Tajiri was off his game and only got a 39. Chavo got a 57. Super Crazy got a 59. Ooh. Is Tajiri maybe? Is he going to keep getting low ratings? Because again, that might be a little bit of a concern because I've got him in a storyline that's going to be starting later on tonight. So I need Tajiri to start picking up better ratings than that. But both Tajiri and Chavo got adequate ratings for their gimmicks, whereas Super Crazy got a great rating for his gimmick. And Steve Corino, again, probably could have done a better job of putting this match together. I'm going to be honest, I've only checked the road agent for the main event. So we'll see. We'll see if he's got any more that I have missed. But I know he hasn't got the main event. So that is at least one thing I don't have to worry about. But Steve Corino, definitely after this show, I'm taking away his road agent privileges. But yep, 52 segment rating there. And next up, we've got Gary Wolf out in the ring. He calls out Chris Kanyon for his attack on Dreamer backstage. He says if he wants a fight, come fight someone who's ready for him. But then, of course, Kanyon attacks him from behind and lays out Wolf while screaming, nobody is ready for Kanyon. And then a referee comes out and a match begins immediately between the two. A 50 segment rating. Gary Wolf, not brilliant on the microphone. I only gave him like a minute or so just to quickly come out, call out Kanyon, and then he gets attacked, which got, in fact, a twice as good rating because Kanyon attacking Wolf got a 66 rating. Gary Wolf, his Pitbull gimmick has got a rating of very good. And so that goes into a match between the two, which is, of course, won by Chris Kanyon in 8 minutes 33. I went for a tainted win. Not really too sure what I was expecting that to mean in ECW in a hardcore setting. But it says here he's illegally used the ropes. We'll go with it. There's now rope breaks in the new ECW. We'll go with it for now. But the segment rating got a 56, a 52 for the actual wrestling. Kanyon, of course, got a much better rating of 63 over Gary Wolf. And we're just trying to build Kanyon up in ECW for his storyline against Tommy Dreamer, which I think could be very, very good. And so, yep, 56 rating for that. And so we move on. And what we move on to is the Sandman now is going around looking backstage for the new owner. He goes up to the office of that new owner, but it's locked. He tries knocking it down. He tries opening it. He tries knocking it down. He tries banging it down with his Singapore cane, but absolutely no joy. But however, when he turns around, he bumps into the unexpected face of Rowdy Roddy Piper. And the Sandman turns around and goes, "What the F are you doing here?" He cannot believe that Roddy Piper is in the ECW arena. Sandman says, "Are you the new owner? Are you the new boss around here?" Piper then says, "You'll find out soon enough, kiddo. But as for now, how about we go and have a beer together?" Sandman says sure, but looks untrusting of Roddy Piper. And so that gets us a 60 segment rating. 53 for Sandman looking for the new owner. 63 for the Sandman bumping into Roddy Piper. And of course, Piper's gimmick gets a great rating, as you would expect. And then following that is a disappointing rating there, as it's Vampiro versus Chris Candido. I set these two to try and steal the show, and again it's another road agent that hasn't done very well. This time it's Ian Rotten, So Vampiro has defeated Chris Candido in 12 minutes 47 with his Mitsunoku driver. And yeah, the match was designed so the wrestlers could go out and try and steal the show. I can't remember exactly how long. Oh yeah, 12 minutes. 12 minutes is how long I gave it. And so Vampiro got a 46, Candido a 49. Vampiro's gimmick has got an initial rating of great, which is really, really important, as you will see again as this show goes on. Candido also got a very good rating for his gimmick, and Ian Rotten could have done better as the road agent. So that's now 2 road agents I need to look at replacing. That's going to be interesting. But also Vampiro being in extremely poor form. That needs to improve. You will see in a minute why that needs to improve. Oh, I didn't know he was in bad form. But okay, 45, we move on. And next up is a much better segment, as much to everybody's surprise, Billy Kidman shows up in the ECW arena. And not only does he show up, he defeats Juventud Guerrera and Mikey Whipwreck in 9 minutes 1 second when Kidman pinned Mikey Whipwreck with a shooting star press. Easy for me to say. The match was designed to revolve around a lot of high spots, and Mikey, I'm going to call him Mikey, he struggled to keep up with everyone else's in-ring performances. He only got a 32. Maybe we stop using him. Maybe we stop using Mikey. But Billy Kidman and Juventud both got 60s. Everybody in this segment got either very good or great ratings for their gimmicks. So that is good to see. But yeah, maybe I should have just gone Kidman versus Juventud, but I didn't want anything that was too directly relatable to WCW to be on the first show of a new ECW era. So I thought I would try and host or try and put an ECW guy in there as well. But maybe I shouldn't have. And then following that, another poor segment, but it is only a very, very quick one. It's a quick 2-minute segment as Yoshihiro Tajiri, who won his freeway match earlier in the night, comes out to challenge Billy Kidman to a match at the next ECW pay-per-view, whose name I can't remember off the top of my head right now. I know I've not changed it, so it's whatever the June pay-per-view would have been in 2001. I don't know what that's called, but we'll find out on the next episode. But this is going to be one of the matches on that next event. It's going to be Tajiri versus Kidman. Again, Steve Corino screwing up the segment. Little bit disappointing, but 44. Again, we move on. It's not the end of the world, I don't think. I think we can recover this. But as you can see, a Kidman and Tajiri storyline has now started. And after that, we get another ECW original as it's Sabu against Dennis Knight. This is a wild brawl. It's the kind of typical Sabu match you would expect, which also, not to bring the mood down too much, but obviously we did lose Sabu very, very recently, so RIP legend. Sabu does get the victory over Dennis Knight in 8 minutes 29 with his diving leg drop. 44 rating for the segment. Sabu was off his game. He got a 44. Dennis Knight only got a 34. And so, yeah, not brilliant, not great, but the crowd are still hot. And so hopefully we can carry that on and get a decent rating for the show. But the next segment is exactly what everybody has been wondering about all night long. Because after the Sabu match, the lights in the ECW arena go out. Joey Styles makes a joke about how some things don't change, even with a new owner apparently. And the lights stay off for 30 seconds until AC/DC's Back in Black which is also a banger of a tune, starts playing, and out walks the one and only Mick Foley. Mick Foley says, "Well, hello, ECW. Now, I know what you're thinking. What in the name of Cactus Jack Santa Claus Commissioner Mick is this guy doing here? You probably figured I showed up to do a little cheap pop, maybe flash the shock, say hi to my old pal Tommy Dreamer, and sneak out the back door before the main event tonight. But I didn't come here for a cheap pop. I came here because ECW means something to me, because ECW means something to everybody in this business, and because when I saw the life support machine flatline, a part of me flatlined with it too. I owe this place. I owe these fans. I owe Paul Heyman and every guy who ever walked through the curtain here, bloody, broken, and proud to be part of something real. When the doors slammed shut and the wrestlers scattered, it didn't feel right. It felt like something sacred had been stolen. I watched guys I bled with lose their paychecks, their spotlight, their purpose. I saw fans, real fans like all of you here tonight, mourn this company like they had lost a family member, and I felt it too. ECW gave me a second chance. It gave all of us a second chance, and I wasn't going to sit on my arse while the vultures picked away at the bones of the company. And let me get the rest of my script. ECW gave me a second chance. It gave all of us a second chance. And I wasn't going to sit on my arse while the vultures picked its bones clean. And so he pulls out a contract from his jacket. So I did something a little crazy. Something the wife's maybe not going to be too happy about. But I went to the bank, and after they had finished laughing at me and what little money I had, I made some calls, I pissed off a few people, and I bought ECW. He opens his shirt to reveal a brand new t-shirt. Owner of ECW, I now own ECW. And trust me, I didn't buy it to make it safe. I didn't buy it to tone it down. I brought it to bring it back, to give it to the people who kept chanting its name long after the lights went out. This is our ECW, and with tonight's main event, Rob Van Dam versus Mike Awesome. Yeah, that's who RVD's opponent is tonight. ECW doesn't crawl out of the grave. He points to the hard cam and he goes, "It kicks the damn coffin door off the hinges." Ladies and gentlemen, ECW is reborn and business is about to get extreme. Have a nice day. And that is the new owner of ECW. It's our best segment of the night so far by a long margin. 81 rating for the segment. Steve Corino again was on this segment, so we could have got even better. But typical old school ECW nonsense, nobody really knowing what they are doing. But Mick Foley has got the crowd hotter. That is an 81 rating for the segment. And we move on. And so, guys, let me know, what do you think of Mick Foley being the new owner of ECW? Let me know down in the comment section down below. And also, while you're there, if you're interested to see how this is going to go on, subscribe to the channel. Brand new channel, brand new video, brand new everything. I need all the subscribers I can get. So get smashing that subscribe button. But yep, after that brilliant segment, let's go and see what happens next. As it is indeed time for the main event. And in a decent match, Rob Van Dam in an ultimate death match beats Mike Awesome in 16 minutes 50 with, of course, his 5-star frog splash. We get a 64 for the segment, 64 for the wrestling, 50 for the crowd rating. RVD got an 82. Mike Awesome only with a 47, but RVD finally captures the ECW title. But before he can get his hands on it, he gets attacked by Vampiro, who takes the ECW title from the referee in the ring. And after leaving RVD broken through a table, he absconds with the ECW championship. And so that ends the show with a segment rating of 65. RVD's victory got a 72, Vampiro's a 58, and that now starts the RVD versus Vampiro storyline, which now you can see why I need Vampiro to get out of that run of poor form he seems to be in at the moment. But that does end the show. And so what do I think we're going to get? I think we're going to get mid-60s. I'm fairly confident on this show. Maybe 67, 68, I reckon. Maybe that's been a little bit optimistic, but let's go and find out. And it's a 65, exactly mid-60s. The show increased our popularity in 18 regions. We'll go and have a look at our size and our popularity and all the backstage stuff on episode 2, like I said at the beginning of the video. But 65 rating for the first show. That is where we are going to leave it for today, guys. Let me know what you thought of this first show in the new ECW era. Tell me what you think about Mick Foley being the owner, about some of the new guys that have shown up. Just give me all your general thoughts about this in the comment section down below. I'll be replying to each and every one of them. But please remember to subscribe and like this video. It will help me so much as a brand new channel. So thank you all very much for watching. You can also find me on Twitter at SpenComs, SpenComs. That is where you will find out when the next video in this series will be up, and you'll be able to find out all about my football commentaries in the new season that's coming up in the next couple of months. You'll be able to find out all about them on there as well. So thank you all for joining me here today, guys. I have been Spencer Hopwood, and this has been Universe Rewritten. Bang, bang!